The moment right after sex is one of the most emotionally charged and psychologically revealing spaces between a man and a woman. Yet so many men mishandle it, either through silence, withdrawal, or indifference. What most people don't realize is that sex, no matter how casual, opens a subtle psychological window. And for many women, especially those who allowed themselves to become physically vulnerable, that window is wide open. You might think the act is over, but in truth, the impact is just beginning. In those quiet minutes post-intimacy, a woman is highly attuned to your energy, your behavior, your tone, your presence. She may not say it, but she's asking a silent question. Was this meaningful, or was I just used? The way you answer, without even speaking, can shape how she sees you, how she sees herself, and how she remembers the experience. This is where anchoring emotional safety becomes non-negotiable. Emotional safety is not about making big promises or declaring love. It's not about theatrics. It's about presence. Are you there, or have you already mentally checked out? Are you still in the room with her emotionally, or did your interest end the moment your desire was satisfied? Women pick up on the smallest cues. If your energy turns cold, even slightly, she will feel it. And the message it sends is devastating. Now that I've had you, I don't need you anymore. Too many men underestimate the depth of that post-sex silence. They don't realize how loud it can be. A gentle touch on the arm, holding her for a few minutes, genuine eye contact, a small, honest compliment. These things are simple, but they hold weight. They say, I see you, I respect you. I'm not disappearing now that I got what I wanted. This is what emotional maturity looks like. When a woman gives you access to her body, she's not just letting you in physically. She's inviting you into a part of her that carries memory, meaning, and emotion. And whether she admits it or not, part of her will always associate your energy with how you made her feel afterward. The greatest damage isn't caused by the act of sex itself, but by what happens right after, when men vanish emotionally and pretend like nothing sacred just happened. And it's precisely when the act of sex moves out of the intimate space of the bedroom to the man's heart, when men vanish emotionally and pretend like nothing sacred just happened. That's why the man feels so anxious to return to her bed. Power. That's carelessness, disguised as detachment. And for the men who think that providing emotional safety is about being soft or too attached, understand this. Real masculinity is not just about dominating in the bedroom. It's about standing firm emotionally. It's about holding space for the woman you just connected with, even if that connection was brief. Because even in casual moments, character is revealed. And the man who can remain emotionally grounded in the aftermath of desire, that's a man who understands power beyond the physical. We must stop reducing intimacy to friction and pleasure. There's more at play here. Memory is being formed. Trust is being tested. In some cases, trauma is being triggered or healed. And while you can't control her emotions, you can control your awareness. You can choose to act with presence, to ground her emotionally, to make her feel safe in the storm of feelings that may follow. Because when it's all said and done, people don't remember what you did to them as much as they remember how you made them feel. And after sex, that feeling speaks louder than anything you did during it. If you forget everything else, remember this. Emotional safety is not a luxury. It's your responsibility. Don't disappear when it matters the most. Be the presence that stays, even when the desire fades. Once the physical moment passes, what lingers is not just memory, it's meaning. And for many women, the meaning of what just happened is deeply tied to how she's treated after it. You see, the act itself may have been consensual, pleasurable, even intense. But if the energy afterwards shifts into coldness, indifference, or detachment, something inside her begins to question her worth. Not just her sexual worth, but her emotional and personal value. And that silent question stays with her far longer than the touch ever did. Many men make the mistake of thinking the job is done once sex ends. They check out, scroll their phones, put on their clothes, or even crack dismissive jokes. And what they don't realize is that they're sending a loud, unspoken message. You served your purpose. Whether or not that's the intention, that's what is felt. And here's the truth. How a woman feels after you've had her physically will determine how she sees you, how she sees herself around you, and whether she ever trusts you again. Women are intuitive. They don't always need you to say something to know what's going on. They feel the shift, the emotional distance, the subtle withdrawal. The second song is hid when a woman feels alone. The second song is hid. 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 The second, and when it happens, it reaffirms one of their deepest fears, that they're only valued when their body is involved, and ignored once the need for that body is fulfilled. That's why what you do and say after sex carries more psychological weight than most men want to admit. Even if the experience was meant to be casual, even if there was no expectation of anything deeper, there's still a human being in that space with you. A woman who has a mind, a soul, and an emotional world that deserves acknowledgement. Respect doesn't cost a thing, but the absence of it can cost everything. A simple word, a genuine compliment, a statement of appreciation that reflects her value beyond what just happened, it changes everything. It tells her, I see you. You're not invisible now that the lights are back on. Because here's the deeper truth. Women don't just want to be desired. They want to be seen. They want to feel like they mattered, that their presence wasn't just a temporary fix for someone's urge, but a connection, even a small one, that meant something. And no, this doesn't mean you need to fake emotions or promise forever. It just means you respect the fact that what she gave wasn't just her body, it was her trust. When you affirm a woman's worth after sex, you do more than just make her feel good. You build a reputation, even silently, as a man who understands emotional maturity. You elevate yourself above the masses who still believe that detachment is power, because power without care is weakness in disguise. The strongest men are the ones who can look a woman in the eye after sex and still make her feel like she matters, not because she's demanding it, but because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you find yourself in that intimate space with a woman, remember, what you say and how you act afterward has the power to uplift or silently wound. It can build trust or confirm her worst fears. Choose to be the kind of man who doesn't just take, but who honors, who doesn't just enjoy the body, but acknowledges the soul within it. Because the way you treat her after the pleasure reveals more about your character than anything you did during it. And when it's all said and done, it's not the orgasm she'll remember. It's the respect she either felt or didn't. There's something most men never pause to consider after sex, and that is the energy they've just exchanged. It's easy to focus on the physical, the pleasure, the performance, the attraction. But sex is far more than biology. It's a deep exchange of emotional, psychological, and energetic states. Whether it lasted 10 minutes or an hour, something passed between the two of you. And that something doesn't just disappear when you pull away. It lingers in your body, in your mind, and in your emotions. That's why wise men don't just reflect on the act. They reflect on the energy behind it. Ask yourself, what did I walk away with? Did I feel drained or did I feel alive? Was this connection light or heavy? Did I just take on someone's unresolved pain, their sadness, their confusion? Because yes, those things come through too. Energy doesn't lie, and it doesn't need words to travel. It moves through touch, through intention, through breath. If you're not careful, you'll carry emotional baggage from one woman to the next without even realizing it. wondering why you feel mentally exhausted or spiritually disconnected. And this isn't just about her energy, it's about yours too. What did you give her? Did you leave her feeling respected, affirmed, and calm? Or did you pass on your anxiety, your emotional carelessness, your need to escape? Men often see sex as a release, but few recognize it as a transfer. A transaction happens in that moment, and it's not about who got off. It's about who left with what. This is why self-awareness is critical. A man who is conscious of what he carries and what he leaves behind is a man who doesn't just sleep around aimlessly. He understands that every intimate encounter leaves a spiritual fingerprint, and if he's not grounded, he ends up stuck in cycles that drain him and leave women confused, anxious, or broken. So the next time you finish, don't just zip up and go. Sit with yourself for a moment. What shifted? What stayed? What was real? And what was just impulse? Because how you manage energy after sex will determine not only your peace, but the kind of man you become. Sex isn't just an act. It's a mirror. And what you see afterward reflects more than just your desire. It reveals your depth. One of the most damaging things a man can do after sex is say nothing at all. That silence isn't neutral. It's loud, confusing, and deeply unsettling. It creates emotional limbo. And for many women, that limbo feels like rejection, abandonment, or even betrayal. That silence isn't neutral. It's loud, confusing, and betrayal. Press on and press off. It's like burning. Press in and press out. It's like water. To be drawn, to be turned, to be called, to be fed, to be abandoned. You may not realize it, but that moment when she's waiting for some kind of emotional clarity and you give her nothing can shape how she views herself, how she trusts men, and whether she ever opens up again in the same way. Communication after sex isn't optional. It's a moral responsibility. Now, I'm not talking about giving her a romantic speech or promising a future you don't intend to build. That's manipulation. I'm talking about honesty.